We live in a world that celebrate quick wins, fast launches, fast growth, fast results. But a lot of people quietly feel this strange gap. They are moving, they are achieving, yet they feel less connected to what matters. Today, we are exploring why slow growth is not a delay, it is a foundation. Welcome back to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm Yusuf, and today I'm joined by Jake Knox, author of Oak, Lokes, and Gasoline. Our topic is simple, but it has big consequences. Why slow growth builds stronger foundations when speed ever will? If you have ever felt like you are doing a lot but building very little that lasts, this episode is for you. And with that, I welcome my guest Jake Knox to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Jake, a lot of people hear slow growth and assume it means lower ambition or weaker drive. I'm curious, what is the biggest misconception people have about slow growth?
I think that a lot of people want what's fast and flashy, and that uh, we call it that dopamine rush or that feeling of, "Ooh, I felt like I really got something right now." And the metaphor that is my book, Oak Logs and Gasoline, is a conversation. I raised four boys. Um, there's a lot going on when you're raising four boys, and there's a lot of emotions all happening at different levels of age growth and development. And we talk about um, a lot of times we want to rush into life, right? We want things to happen. We want the instant gratification. We want life now, and we call the metaphor for Oak Logs and Gas. And just to back up a second, is uh, we talk about this analogy with my boys that you have a fire inside of yourself, inside of your soul. That it's your campfire. It's your fire that heats your home, and your home is your soul and your life. And we could talk about throwing gasoline on that fire, and if we need something really hot and really fast, right? But it's not sustainable. You can't just every 5 minutes throw a cup of gasoline on the fire and expect your life to function in a fulfilling way. Oak logs, the other half of that metaphor, is that real fuel, the dense, good fuel that we put into our fires so that we can go to bed at night and we wake up and our house is still warm, right? But to get oak logs, it takes some work. We're growing trees, we're cutting down trees, we're chopping logs, we're stacking wood, and we're really putting in the work in our lives to have real fuel to put into our fires. That's slow growth. So if you could step back and look at that real quick and say, okay, I can put in some work here to build this, but then I have something sustainable that I can then move on from and move on with, as opposed to what am I just throwing gas on the fire all the time? And now a year down the road, do we have a stack of firewood, or are we just still throwing gas on the fire and cleaning up the mess? So that said, it takes that effort to put in to create something real. And that's, to me, is slow growth.
Yeah. Yeah, slow is not, it does not mean absence of drive. It is the presence of intention. That's a very different kind of strength.
Exactly.
Hmm. Jake, I want to ask, when did you first notice this pattern in yourself or others that people can work hard, move fast, and still feel disconnected?
Um, I think, I don't know if there was ever a moment, but I think throughout life, as you're growing and moving forward and winning and failing, you think maybe I had some retrospect. Okay, why am I stumbling here? What is going on? Why do I feel bad right now? Oh, you know what? Actually, I've been eating cookies instead of making a meal for myself. Or,
Mm.
you know what? I haven't been exercising or getting outside. I don't feel good right now. Why is that? Oh, I need to come back into myself. I think it's a process. And I think that we're all growing. Is another good point too here is we're all a work in progress. And so I think if we we come into times in our lives where we can be doing better, where we come back into focus and maybe we're chopping and stacking logs again. And then we get into these parts of our lives that are fast and are moving quickly, and there's things coming at us from all these different directions, and it's easier to get some fast food or you know, throw some gasoline on the fire to keep this thing moving. And then we get into those patterns and we can ebb and flow through our lives. And I think it's really important. And this is a big one that I share with my boys all the time is it's okay to not be perfect all the time. It's okay to be in the moment and say something that you can walk back from a little bit because it was growth. You have that grace in your life to move forward and grow and be a work in progress. And you don't have to be done, game over if you say something that wasn't the best version of yourself once. Or you're not wrong just because we don't know yet, kind of a concept. So I think that I, like anybody else, am a work in progress. And the more conversations I have like this and the healthy conversations that we have with people and together, um, meaningful conversation can change everything. And having these meaningful conversations help us to grow and maybe have that in front of us a little bit more often, which maybe helps us to remind us to stay in that lane.
Mm, true. But there is a certain obsession with intensity, with speed. Why do you think we chase intensity so easily? Is it fear of falling behind, validation, or what is it?
Sure. I don't know the direct answer over that. It feels good. It feels good to be moving. Maybe it feels like the right thing to do, to be working hard. And in my life, I've achieved that burnout where you're working so hard and it's a badge that you wear, that you're working harder than anybody else. You're working more hours than anybody else, and you come home and you're exhausted, and maybe you're not at your best because of that. But um, I don't know I don't know if it's right or wrong, even, I guess. To maybe to be fair, uh, so the people that I admire the most are they get up and they're moving and they're making things happen. Um, it's cool. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see people being dynamic. And I think that we can be there's that difference between being dynamic and just doing, right? So maybe that's that difference where we talk about getting up and moving and driving. And I think that that's awesome. One of the biggest things I tell my kids is you got to get up and show up. Because can't do it if you're not there. But doing it with intention and doing it um, methodically and thoughtfully is important.
You use a very strong image in your work. We learn how to start fires, but not how to tend them. How does tending actually mean in day to day life?
Well, if we're using the concept of fire, uh,
Yeah.
a fire is in its best incarnation when it's tended. So fires can burn out of control. Fires can burn out. Fires can burn hot and fast. Fires can burn low and slow. Um, I think that a tended fire, fire inside of yourself, when tended, means that you're being the best version of yourself. Um, I also like the idea of the fire because I grew up in Wisconsin, up north, and we in the summertime we were making campfire around, and we're sitting around a campfire, and we're those are some of my favorite conversations when I'm growing up because it's everyone just at a calm and having conversation and exploring ideas back and forth. And I really want my conversations when I'm coaching uh, and coaching mentors to be better mentors and coaching having conversations with parents to maybe approach their kids in a better way. I want it to feel like that. I want it to feel like we're having a conversation, not like you're getting a lecture from me about. Because if you're getting a lecture from me and then you have to turn around and have a conversation with your kids, maybe that's not the right approach. So um, I like the idea of that, and I think everyone in the world, um, it bridges cultures. The fire, the idea of having fire and fire sustaining life and fire creating opportunities, is something that everyone can join that conversation and feel like they understand, the concept of where that's coming from.
Yeah. In mentoring and leadership spaces, what are the most common signs that someone is growing quickly but their foundation is weak?
Oh, maybe that's a good question. If I see it in the stress level of my kids, if speaking personally from my experience and from where I come from as a mentor, if I feel like, how do I feel if my kids are growing too quickly? You see, um, maybe missteps in between the bigger um, actions. So we're acting and we're getting a lot done, but maybe there's a lot of mess in between. Um, so when we're living fast, and we're out the door all the time, maybe our home is messier. Maybe we eat dishes in the sink. Uh, we're getting up and we have a quarter of our wardrobe because we haven't taken the time to wash our laundry. Uh, um,
Yeah.
or we get up in the morning and we're on our way out the door, and our car is on empty because we didn't stop to fill up our tank thinking about tomorrow and where we're at tomorrow. Now we're running late and we've got an empty tank of gas and we've got to start something. That, by the way, happened to me today. So we're all a work in progress, right? This was me yesterday going, oh, I got so much going on here. I'm doing all these things. Oh, I'll just get gas tomorrow. So I think when we're moving quickly, we miss things in between. And I think that was the base of your question. Um, and if I'm looking at my kids or young people, and I see that they're getting um, kind of worked up or stressed out because a bunch of little things aren't going right in their lives. Um, Maybe it's because we're moving too fast. And if we take that a little bit slower approach, living maybe a little bit more intentionally, then we don't get to tomorrow morning and realize that we're behind because we went too fast yesterday.
Hmm, that's true. I want to know what is the how does rushed growth show up in relationships, not just at work, but family, friendships, and even how we talk to ourselves.
I think that it all comes back to a level of stress that we're carrying. And if when we're moving fast, I feel like like we had just talked about, there's things get left behind or are unfinished. And when we have unfinished things in our lives, it can cause stress. Or if we're not prepared, we have more stress. And if we're moving too fast, there's probably more opportunities for things like that. Uh, and when we are more stressed about what's happening in our lives and where we have to go and how what we have to keep up with in our lives, uh, no doubt that that would affect our relationships with other people. In my own life, my relationship with my wife, when I feel like I'm not prepared, I'm short with her. And that's not fair. I try to, and I've known this, and we've had great conversations, she and I, about that through the years. And it goes both ways, and everybody's keeping their own side of the street clean and to the best of their ability. Um, and I think that if we're living with intention, it automatically is slowing down a little bit in covering those bases. Uh, I make a very good point to see her before I run out the door in the morning. And when I say see her, I mean just look her in the, have a great day. I love you. I'm walking out the door. Because it's really easy just to be in my own head and fly out the door. And my first action in the morning is right now is taking my two younger boys to their schools. And so then, and that's 8 minutes in the morning is a short commute. And is that 8 minutes, if I'm in my own head, I'm not with them being present. And so if I'm already moved past into the next thing that I'm doing in my day, I just missed an 8-minute one-on-one opportunity to have a campfire talk with the people that I love. And so moving fast means maybe skipping over or looking past those little opportunities to connect and to grow with other people.
That's true. When we rush, we stop listening. And when we stop listening, we lose connection with people and with ourselves.
Yeah, and miss those opportunities.
Yeah. If someone listening right now and they feel that they are trapped in a fast environment, deadlines, pressure, social comparison, what is one small shift that helps them start building slower growth without quitting their whole life?
Sure. Well, and what you and I can each do right now is take 5 minutes, n- even if you're late for a meeting
Hmm.
or you're running it at the last second of the meeting, or you have so many things going on, the next 5 minutes by yourself to take some deep breaths and to breathe, come back to your core of appreciation, of gratitude, of the things that you do have and the people who love you and who are around you in your life, and just think about them. Just take 3 minutes if you don't have 5 minutes. But just that little shift in mentality can help you slow down. And another thing that I really talk about with my boys is stacking little wins. So when you stack little wins, you build momentum in your life. And a lot of people talk about that. And it's really it's very true. It works for me very well. Um, and so just that 3 minutes to kind of bring it back and say, okay, what's my next little win? And how can I just connect a few of these little dots just to shore up this first level of why I feel this anxiety or stress right now? Will help you build that platform to take on the next task.
Yeah, that's true. Jake, are there any ways that our listeners can connect with you?
Yeah, I have. I'm started a coaching for mentors, um, namely based or geared toward parents who are raising young adults, teenagers to young adults, and for coaches who are looking for better ways to connect with their teams and individuals on their teams or as groups, to become more than just a coach for winning games, but as a mentor for these young people to become better people in their lives. So I do have a coaching platform that we're rolling out right now this spring. Um, I wrote a book. It's called Oak Logs and Gasoline. It's available here, just published. And the book is really was born of a conversation or number of conversations that I've had with my boys over the years that just became a group of small topics. It's just an introduction or kind of a base guide to conversations that you can have about hard topics, topics that are coming at these young people, whether they like it or not. So are we talking about it with them? How can we better mentor through those conversations? It's just a beginning of a platform that really is more of a launch pad to a bigger ecosystem of having these real conversations, helping people slow down a little bit,
Mm.
talk about what's coming, because these real conversations change everything, as opposed to not having them and just reacting as things are coming at us. So oaklogsandgasoline.com is the website. It's kind of the landing place to connect. And I really look forward to connecting with as many people who want to have or join this conversation with me. And again, it's not me lecturing at people, but it's an opportunity for people to, pull up a chair to the campfire and join the conversation.
Beautiful. We'll link everything in the show notes. So, listeners, just go and check those out. Jake, is there any last message that you want to leave us with?
I hope that we can have more conversations with young people to help them feel like they can slow down and build that life that is slow growth and that burning fire inside of them that they can keep their home, keep their life with, as opposed to feeling like we have to run around throwing gas on the fire all the time just to give it a quick forward. Uh, I look forward to having as many conversations as I can with people about it. I hope that more people then have those conversations with other people, and we can move forward with this world, having more people having gratitude and compassion for each other and building this world into a better place for everyone.
If this conversation spoke to you, take 1 minute today and ask yourself, what am I building and what am I tending it? Or just start or just starting fires. Thanks for listening to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I am Yusuf. Take care of your mind, take care of your life, and I'll see you in the next episode.